It's Luke here for SimBoxx. Delighted this evening to be joined by the WBA Bantamweight Champion of the World, Nina Hughes. Nina, how are we doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. So how many times over the festive period, the holiday period, have you just like had the family or whatnot introduce you as the world champion?
You know what? Not really.
Have you got bored of hearing it yet?
No, haven't heard it that much.
Brilliant. I think if it was me, I think I'd change my name on all social media, I'd change my name in everyone's phone book, and just be introduced as champion of the world every time.
It's got
Yeah.
a nice sound.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's go straight back to it, Nina. 26th of November, 2022.
Yeah,
Went in there with the undefeated Jamie Mitchell. Crazy opportunity out in, I think it was in Dubai.
yeah,
A
Dubai.
bit of a heated build up as well. So Jamie Mitchell was familiar to British boxing fans for the fight with Shannon Courtney.
Yeah,
Maybe that left a bit of a sour taste in the mouth because then that kind of transitioned into the build up with your fight. So yeah, take us through that build up. It got a little bit heated.
yeah. I mean, it all started. Obviously, sometimes you just got to try and get the opportunities. And she was moaning on Twitter that she hadn't been active. And I just said I'm more than happy. I feel that I'm ready, and I'm more than happy to fight you. And she obviously took that to offence a bit. So there's a little bit went on there, and then yeah, all I did was an interview and saying that I'd love that fight and this fight I believe I can win. And they tagged her in it, and she started telling about how she's going to break my neck and smash my teeth in, and it went on from there really. But yeah, I got the fight, so that's the main thing.
Absolutely. So, in the build up, and I mean this with all due respect, I think you was quite easily written off. You was undefeated. You had a handful of fights, picked up the Commonwealth
Yeah,
title as well, which was a great achievement in 2022. We'll touch on that in a second. But I think it's fair to say that you was almost written off. You weren't really given
yeah,
a chance. So that coupled with the fact that you had this almost fabricated bad blood, if you like, with Jamie Mitchell. How satisfying was it to get that W? As much as becoming a world champion is every boxer's ultimate goal, but almost on a personal level, how much satisfaction do you take from being written off?
yeah. I mean, like I said, the night before, like I was reading, literally everyone was thought she was going to win. There was like a poll: 96% of people had her winning, 4% of people had me, and I didn't realize how much people were writing me. Like I knew she was the favorite, which she deserved to be, me being the underdog, but I didn't realize how much people were writing me off until I started reading all the comments, which I probably shouldn't have been looking at the night before. But to be fair, it just gave me more fire to prove everyone wrong. So in some ways, done me a favour.
So have you managed to watch the fight back? Take us through how you feel like your performance went on the night, and if you have watched it back,
Yeah.
what do you take from the fight? Do you feel like these things that you could have done better, things that you was pleased
Um,
that you seen in watching it back?
yeah, like I've watched it back a few times. Yeah, I was pleased with my performance. I thought I built up a big lead at the beginning, until I got cut. And obviously then I got cut in the round six, and then cut again above that cut in round seven. So we had to change our tactics completely, and like just keep our distance and box on the back foot, which I still had a lot of success in. So still won a few of the late rounds after that, but I think I lost a couple after the cut. But I think had I not got cut, I would have won even more clearly.
When you face that kind of adversity, like you say, you suffer one cut, then you suffer another cut, and the game plan kind of goes out the window, and you have to think on your
Yeah.
feet. And you're trying to change things up in the corner, maybe. Was the nerves there? Was the apprehension, or do you just kind of take it in your stride? Where was your head at when you suffered the first, then the second cut?
To be fair, like it was a weird feeling. Like throughout the whole build up, I just felt so relaxed and unnervous about the whole situation, which was strange. I thought I really would be, as it was like a big world title shot. But yeah, I don't know. We was confident throughout. We was winning. So once we had to change the tactics, and they were working, so I still felt confident. I was still boxing well, and I showed that I can adapt as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a really big plus point. And of course, the moment when you hear the ring announcer, they read out the scorecards and the new, uh, a real
Yeah.
proud moment, I'm sure, in your life, in your career that maybe won't be topped as a professional boxer.
Yeah, that was an amazing feeling listening to that. Like we knew we'd won, but you're still never sure until the judges say it because you never know what the judges are looking at. But yeah, it was a good feeling.
So we mentioned previously that earlier in 2022 you picked up the Commonwealth title. Did you think at the
Yeah.
moment, wait, say if you look back to when you turned pro, maybe that winning the Commonwealth title was a real big goal, and maybe if you could achieve something like that, then that's great. That's something, a reward for your career, and maybe a world title in 2023, or was getting a world title opportunity in 2023 part of the plan, and that getting that Commonwealth title was just a stepping stone into bigger opportunities.
Yeah, the Commonwealth title was a stepping stone to bigger opportunity. Well, we didn't. It was all about trying to get the opportunities. We thought, obviously, you build your way up, you get higher ranked, winning the Commonwealth, and I've got the WBO International as well, so that will give you some rankings. So it was just about keep chipping away, working away, and hoping for that world title shot. And it come a lot sooner than expected, but we was grateful for the opportunity, and we weren't letting that go to waste.
Absolutely. So, of course, you work very closely with Lee Eaton, but then off the back of the victory, you've now signed with Matchroom, I believe, which should
Yep.
lead to some huge fights in 2023. We're seeing the women's sport of boxing growing at a rapid rate, and there's becoming really solid fights in most weight divisions now. There used to be just maybe two or three eye-catching fights, but yourself
Yeah.
now you're in the mix there with Ebanie Bridges. I think she's the champion at your weight.
Yeah.
Shannon Courtney fight as well. Obviously, she's not a world champion at the minute, but that's another big fight that's available at Matchroom. Was that along the lines of why you decided to link up with Matchroom, that there's these possibilities for 2023?
Yeah, definitely because obviously Shannon Ebony, and obviously it was Matchroom that gave me the chance against Jamie Mitchell. So, yeah, it was always on the cards if I won, and yeah, hopefully it'll be nice. I can box on the big platforms and get big opportunities in the big fights. I just want more belts now.
Absolutely. Is it something that I've not really looked into, but is there a rematch clause there for Jamie Mitchell? Is that a possibility that you could run it back with Jamie Mitchell in the new year?
No, I don't think so. There's no rematch clause, so I don't think that fight. We're not looking at that fight. We're looking to move on now.
Absolutely. So just mentioned there about Lee and just how important has he been for your career and linking up with Lee and working with Lee, just how big of a figure in your career is Lee Eaton?
Yeah, he's been great. Obviously he's managed me from the start as my manager. I mean, he was the one that got me the Commonwealth title and WBO International in just my third fight. So he's creating these opportunities for me, so helping me on my journey.
Absolutely. How was it over Christmas? Did you feel like you had that extra bounce in your step, maybe that you was obviously the excitement, the buzz from becoming a world champion? Was you allowed to take it a little bit easier over the festive period and relax and spend time with family?
Yeah, I had literally a good month off of doing nothing. Like I haven't had a rest since I turned pro. I haven't had more than a week's rest. I've been constantly in the gym, always ticking over. And I had a few niggles going into that fight, so I just decided to take a whole month's rest. Um, oh, hang on, the battery's low. Plug it in before it dies. Yeah, just took a whole month rest, relaxed, spent it with my family, and yeah, enjoyed myself. Ready, fresh, recovered, and ready to start again this year.
Absolutely. No, Nina, you won't forgive me for mentioning, but at 40 years of age, you 5-0 as a pro. I think it'd be fair to say, in terms of age, it's quite a late start in the
Yeah,
game. Do you feel like these? I think rush maybe is the wrong word, but to get these bigger fights, these bigger unifications, maybe with the likes of Ebony Bridges, is there an urgency there to kind of get them in as soon as possible?
yeah, of course. Like that's why I boxed for the Commonwealth and WBO in just my third fight, and obviously took the world title shot as soon as we could get it on my fifth fight. Like obviously, if I was in my early 20s, I'd be like plodding along, like building the experience. I wouldn't be rushing at these opportunities, but I know I take any opportunity I can, and yeah, make the most of them when they come along.
Absolutely. So if we could go back to the beginning, like I say, you turned over pro quite late. I know you boxed with Team GB and you had a good amateur background. Can we go
Yeah.
back to the beginning and look at how you got into the sport of boxing? Really, I think that's where I was going to go with that. Is where did it all start for Nina Hughes?
I did a boxercise class with my mate one day because we found the gym boring. And then we decided to join a kickboxing gym. And then, yeah, just did the fitness training there, and then I ended up joining a boxing gym just purely for fitness. No intention of ever boxing, and then yeah, my coach Chris Oko at the time talked me into it. As at Chadwell St Mary Amateur Boxing Club, and yeah, he took me into competing. Had my first fight, and yeah, that was it. Never looked back.
You know, it's quite interesting because the last Zoom interview that I'd done for SimBoxx, I spoke to Nicola Hopewell, and I said to Nicola, I
Yeah.
said, how did you get into boxing? And she said, "Oh, I went to a boxercise class."
Oh,
And it
did
kind of
you?
went from there.
Yeah, like I remember going to the show when I was trying to talk me into it, going to the show thinking I can't get up in front of all them people. Imagine I'll get beaten up. But yeah, it wasn't something, it just sort of happened.
So, your memories of your first amateur fight, how would
Yeah.
you compare the nerves? You know, given that as an amateur boxer making your debut, that you've never experienced that before. How was the nerves? And this is kind of put you on the spot, really. How was the nerves for your amateur debut compared to going in for a world title fight? How would you compare the two? Because it's two totally different
Yeah.
events, but nervous at the same time.
I remember about the nerves before my first amateur. I felt sick for 2 days before, thinking, "What am I doing? What am I doing?" I think I lost 2 kilos in nerves coming up to the fight. And to be fair, my world title shot is probably the nervous I've been, and I don't know why. It was weird. I was worrying myself when I was warming up. I was thinking, "Why am I still not nervous?" Like, I don't know. It's weird. It was a weird feeling. I used to suffer really bad nerves in my amateur days. I think up until I come off GB and I had children, and then when I come back, I don't know. I stopped feeling as nervous. But once I come back, I don't know if it's all the experience and you start to that you get from it, that you learn to deal with it. But now it's just a little bit of nerves wanting to win, but I don't really suffer from nerves badly anymore.
That's good to hear. It's good to hear. Nina, how do you mentioned there about leaving Team GB and starting a family. How do you balance family life? Because maybe like as for say a male boxer or whatnot, he can go away from family, and certain fighters will go abroad. Maybe Kell Brook likes to go abroad, and other fighters like to go abroad, or even stay in the UK but go across the country for different camps. How do you balance family life and supporting your children the best you can, and also pursuing your career now as a world champion?
Yeah, I fit it all well. I work still a few days a week, so like I train on my lunch breaks. I train in the evening, but then I'm back home early enough. Sometimes they come to the gym with me. Try and fit as much training as I can in the day while they're at school. So yeah, there's a nice balance, and I make it work.
I think that's one of the best lines that I've had from an interview is that I train on my lunch break. As a reigning world champion, it's not something that you'd really hear a lot of.
I know everyone's like, "You giving up," but like I'm still early on in my career. Like I haven't made like loads of money, but people think you might make. And I've got a couple of kids, so I need a bit of security. So I work 3 days a week, so I've made it work. It'd be different if I was working full time, I think, but because I work 3 days, and my work has been quite flexible with me. So yeah, I've made it work.
That's good to hear. What was the reaction like from the kids when Mum became a world champion?
Yeah, they loved it. Well, they're both quite shy. I'm like, "Did you tell anyone at school?" They're like, "No, too shy."
I remember speaking to Natasha Jonas. She's been on the channel a few times, and there's a really touching story when she was speaking about a relationship with her daughter. And I think it was after the Katie Taylor fight where it was a razor close result, and she came home and her daughter went back to school, and after one of the first days after the loss, and she drew like a belt, like a medal, and said, "Oh, Mum, you didn't get the world title, but I've made this for you." And I thought, it's really touching, things that you don't see on screen, that like Tasha Jonas, like yourself, that responsibility as a parent, whilst again, trying to live the life of an athlete, and in your case, a reigning world champion.
Yeah, it is nice. Especially my older one understands it a lot more. I'm not sure how much my younger one understands. They're 8 and 6. But like my 8-year-old, he did my ring walk with me for my last 2 fights in this country, and like he carried my Commonwealth belt in, and he loved it. He loved the whole experience. So yeah, it's nice to have him there and supporting you as well.
Yeah, well, that kind of answered my next question, and I was going to ask, do you allow him to watch you fight?
Yeah, my oldest one only because my youngest one isn't very he's not very good at staying up late. He gets tired, so he needs to sleep. But yeah, Leo, my oldest son, he loves it, and yeah, he can't wait for the world title for me to defend my world title in this country.
Brilliant. That's really nice to hear. So, at the minute, women's boxing is going through somewhat of a golden era, maybe something that only in 5 or 6 years we might look back and be like, you know what, this is really where it took off. Fighters like yourself, Tasha Jonas, Savannah Marshall, Katie Taylor leading the way, of course, Clarissa Shields. If there's other girls that I've missed off, I do apologize. But do you feel that yourself? Do you feel like, I'm a part of this groundbreaking moment in boxing in sport history that people are going to look back on in years to come as groundbreaking, as I say?
Do you know what? I haven't even looked at it like that. Like, I always obviously watched Natasha and Chantel and Savannah. Like, I was on the GB squad of them, and I just thought if I can achieve even a fraction of what they've achieved, I'll be happy. So, yeah, hopefully in the future. But yeah, I've not really actually thought about that.
Was there ever a moment, Nina, when you say there that you was on Team GB with these girls and you went on and you could see them achieving and succeeding, and you took time away and started the family? Was there ever a worry that the moment was going to pass you by?
To be fair, like I always believed was good enough to be world champion, and I could beat some of the world champions out there. But when I turned pro, it was all about I'm just going to give it a go and see if I get the opportunities. In the back of my mind, I probably didn't think I'd ever get the opportunities. Like I found it hard because of my age. Like none of the big promoters wanted to sign me, so it was difficult. And obviously, then I got the Commonwealth and WBO international titles, and I thought, oh, that will open more doors. And it was still rather quiet. And then obviously, suddenly this opportunity came up, and yeah, we took it. But yeah, there was always that worry that it wouldn't happen. Like I would never get, because it is about getting the opportunities in this game.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Nina, where do we go from here? Obviously, we're into the new year now. A couple of 8 or 9 days or something like that into the new year. What's the outlook for Nina Hughes as we move into 2023?
Well, I want more belts, so I want the big fights. And obviously, Matchroom we've got Shannon Courtney and Ebanie Bridges, so they're probably the easiest fights to make. First of all, there's a lot of talk of Shannon Courtney being next, so hopefully that happens well. Ebanie Bridges is recovering from a hand injury. Beat Shannon and then hopefully get to unify against Ebanie.
Absolutely. What a great year that would be for yourself, Nina. Is there any sponsors, any fans that you'd like to give a shout out before we close off the interview?
Just want a big thanks to all my sponsors. I'm not even going to try and list them because I will forget someone. I always do. So just thank you to everyone that has sponsored me, everyone that's bought a ticket and come and helped me along the way.
Brilliant. Well, Nina, it's been a pleasure to speak to you this evening. I wish you the very best for 2023. We look forward to a successful and exciting year ahead.
Thank you. You too.